All right, welcome to Kubernetes SIG Cloud Provider, August 28th, 2024. This meeting is governed by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, so be excellent to one another. The only thing I have on my agenda is, hey, reminder that we are doing the SIG Cloud Provider maintainer session at KubeCon in Salt Lake City. It is on Friday afternoon, so it's a great place to come relax when your conference is just about done and hang out with your cloud provider community. So I put a link to that in the notes. And then I did take a look at issue triage stuff, and maybe this is something that one of the things, really, there's almost nothing new in there. There was a failing test from May is pretty much like the only thing that's at all new that's listed as needs triage. I can share and show that. And that one, it says Google. So I'm gonna look at you, Walter, and say, hey, let's see. I think this is gonna work. All right, so this failing test due to the persistent volume expecting a topology GKE zone. Have we looked at this one? Looks like we've definitely looked at it. Okay, Walter, we're putting you on the spot and asking you, what's up with this? What creates those labels?
Helps if I can find the unmute button.
Oh.
I am not sure. I need to get hold of Yoncode. Okay.
Okay. So I think this is probably take a look at this one. I'll link it in the doc as well. Oh wait, yeah, I'll link it in the doc just so that it's like the only one that really still has it's relatively new and has a needs triage. Let's just see what happens there.
Yep.
Will do. And then I have one other question, and this is probably one we're going to have to defer to when Elmiko is back. But I was noticing the link here, test grid reviews, just points to GCP. Is that because the tests that we're looking at are on GCP, or is that because there are other tests we should be also adding to this list to review? Like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Is there, like, I don't even have a sense of the history just because I don't usually look at this, but since we were kind of light on agenda items, I looked and then I was like, oh, huh. Periodics that we may or may not usually talk about. When I checked it this morning, this one was in process of running, which is of course finished. But like what?
So I have two guesses, but I have to admit that without digging, they're not going to be anything more than guesses.
Sure. Well, let's hear it. Like, what are you thinking?
So the first and probably more likely guess is that Google had, deeper integrations, as we all know, with its cloud provider code in Kubernetes than anyone else, which is why it took us longer to get out. And so we may have just been the last ones to get out, and so our tests were the last ones left. Plausible reason why. The other guess would be that I'm fairly sure all features ended up having someone from Google involved. And so we basically, with a superset of the viable tests for the Kubernetes code base. And so there are certainly tests which, for instance, the test like the API server aggregated API server tests run on Red Hat and they run on Google, and those are the only two platforms those tests run on. And so it may just have been a shortcut that because the GCP tests are the superset of all tests. And so that's why.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, just kind of interesting. I feel like we should, as we go through the testing stuff that we're reevaluating this fall, I think one of the things we'll probably want to do is come up with a better set of things to look at that maybe cover things better or are more clear. So, okay. Do folks have any other topics that immediately come to mind that they would like us to be sure to chat about today? If not, I also wanted to kind of take a quick look at, all the issues with the needs triage label. Okay, and just a quick look, it looks like, I think this is where a bunch of things got, remember when they kind of cleared out old acceptances or whatever? They're just asking us to re-triage an issue if it's super old. I don't think we're going to go through these point by point, but I am just kind of curious if people have, in their minds, like, oh, the vSphere Cloud Provider one from 2019, we know that that's whatever. Like, do any of these stand out as, oh, we definitely know that this has been taken care of, or we definitely know, maybe Kirthan will look at this and go, oh, that's not even relevant anymore. Like, do any of these kind of stand out to people without clicking on them, of course?
Security group. I definitely think that may not be relevant or might have been fixed in the thing. I can take a look at that.
Yeah.
And maybe update or close it. Update and
Yeah,
ask.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I think that what this is saying is that the issue hasn't been updated in over a year. So we should re-triage it if it's still an issue. So yeah, maybe this is one for you to take a quick look at. And by the way, where
Yeah.
I'm getting this link is just the needs triage label linked to all open
Got it.
issues.
Yeah. I'll take a look today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Awesome.
there were some fixes made on the security group for the services. So yeah, I can take a look and update.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's see, I know some of these are not necessarily cloud specific. This relates to the testing stuff we currently have in progress. Do we have any insights into? Probably not. Let's see. Do you want to talk about GCE issues from 2018? I feel like they need to like be frozen in amber as, a historical relic at this point.
I that I have a very hard time believing that's still an issue, but and yeah, it looks,
Hilariously, Tim was asking Bowie to take a look literally last year.
yeah, probably going, this can't still be a thing.
Right? And why is this under us? Shouldn't this be Signode?
Should probably be SIG networking. But I think, in fact, if you go to the top,
Yeah.
I think it's under.
Oh, it has
under
us.
SIG node, but not under SIG networking. Okay.
Interesting. Maybe
Might be
that's a
good to just
super,
remove.
yeah, maybe that's a super lightweight for you. It's just to look at the Google ones and be like, yes, it's Google, but it has nothing to do with cloud provider for Google, and just kind of remove the cloud provider from these.
Yeah.
That might be valuable just to kind of clarify.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if it has another SIG. Like if it has no SIG, then we could be like, okay, what's going on? But this one certainly is triaged onto SIG nodes project board, so it's probably doesn't need to be sitting there looking for our attention.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm passing over the, area AWS, interesting. This is kind of another, like, I'll look to Kirthan again and say, do you think it would make sense for you to look at the ones that say area provider AWS and just see? You don't have to solve them, just be like,
Yeah.
this is definitely something we still want to keep on the radar, or this is definitely not.
Yeah, I think that definitely could be. I can provide update and close because they were
Some
changes
of them are
made
so
on that
old.
front. The node name. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Like it's certainly possible that Yeah, let's go ask Nikita what she was thinking in August 28, 2019, right? Um, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's just kind of like, since we had the time in the call that today, I was like, oh, let's just take a look at these. I think a goal would be great is, because these are the ones that are flagged, it's not just all, but it's flagged as the needs triage label. I think it would be cool if we could determine, do they really need triage? Maybe they don't need SIG Cloud Provider on them at all. Maybe they don't need triage because we could triage accept them because they are real. We're just not going to deal with them right this second, clearly. You know, just kind of getting them out of that sitting there needs triage would be awesome. Walter.
So for that last bug you were just looking at,
Mhm. I don't know which one I was looking at. I'm sorry.
I think it's the impossible mount. Surface better error when user directly specifies impossible mount.
Ooh, exciting.
That seems like a six. I mean, that's attaching disks. That seems
Right.
like SIG storage.
And is that a provider specific? I guess I don't know if
All
does SIG storage
storage is
kind of go through, right? Like I feel
all
like we
storage
can't
is provider specific. So
exactly. Like we
we
can't
have a
segment things into first is cloud provider and then the storage thing. Like no, it's storage and then
well,
right.
there is a special. I mean, SIG storage is about uh,
Yeah,
is about every storage type, most of which are cloud provider specific. So we have a
exactly.
specific deal with SIG storage where they deal with the storage, not us.
I wonder if because this one's so old that it's just kind of hanging out here, maybe we should just
Yes, and on
offer
top
this
of
to
that,
SIG storage.
that this is, to your point, this is 8 years old. The storage, the way storage is done, has completely been rewritten from scratch in the last 8 years. So I
Yeah.
would be very surprised if this is in any way legit, but the only people who would know would be the storage team.
Typing is hard. I think I did that right.
Especially when other people are watching you.
I know, right? It's like, how many exciting typos can I create? Wait, how do I remove SIG Cloud Provider? Does anyone remember off the top of their head? I think it's remove dash SIG, maybe?
Yeah, /remove -sig, I believe.
I can't even type the word provider. This is you can tell that I only drank half of my iced coffee because meetings. All right, fantastic.
And
Hey,
yet
look at
you got
that
it right.
progress. So yeah, maybe we have, anyway, if we don't have a significant amount of other things to talk about, I'm perfectly happy with calling it there. I feel like that's some incremental progress already. But thanks, folks. And for those follow-ups, if you want to take a look at the ones that are sitting there with your clouds tag on them, perhaps we can find these issues the home where they will actually get solved or resolved. All right. Thank you all so much. Bye.